When I made a what's in my camera bag video in 2020, I was very sure I wouldn't have to make this video again so soon because I told myself that the gear I owned back then was good enough to last me for a few years. Boy was I wrong. Fast forward to today and almost everything in that bag has changed, including the camera bag itself. So let's take a look to see what gear I used to create my content. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bernard and welcome to the channel. For today's video, I'll be going through everything that's in my camera bag for an all-rounder shooting kit. I will also share my different lens combinations in other situations when my needs changes. In a way, this is also a What's in my Dry Box 2021 video. Anyways, without further ado, let's talk gear. The first thing I want to talk about is the camera bag that I use. My favorite camera bag at the moment is the Atlas Adventure bag. One of the things I like most about this bag is its size. At 17 liters, this bag is almost guaranteed to fit all the camera gear I'll need for a shoot. Of course, there are other bags out there in the market with the same carrying capacity, so let me share some key standout features of this bag. The first one would be the Origami Camera Coil. With this, I'm able to reconfigure my bag to suit my needs accordingly. Majority of the time, I keep the bag configured to store more camera gear and use the space on top for a rain jacket or some snacks. But on multi-day hikes, where I bring less camera gear and need more space for camping gear and stuff, that's when I pull this tab and voila, I have more storage space for non-camera equipment. Another cool thing about this bag is despite its large size, you could remove the metal frame and cinch this bag down to make it cabin size friendly. I am sure that when you're traveling with your camera gear, you wouldn't want to check in your expensive equipment, so this solution solves that problem. There are many other things I love about this bag, but that's a topic for another video. Also, they have since released a new version that is smaller in size, and I think that they discontinued this larger version. For me, I would go for the larger bag, but that is based on personal preference and needs. I also have the 131 liter version 1 when I want a smaller profile bag, and this bag is okay in general, but I do have some complaints about it. Also, they have since released a version 2 of this bag, and I would totally go for the 41 liters with the deep cube, as it will solve some of the problems I face with this bag. I have recently ordered the new Shimoda Explore V2 35 liters, and I'm looking forward to it arriving, and you can expect a review on that bag. And on days where I want to keep the weight off my shoulders, I use the Manfrotto Pro Light Reloader Spin 55. You can check out the review I did on that bag here. Now, let's move on to the fun topic of what I actually carry in my camera bags. My camera body of choice is the A7S III. This camera needs no introduction, and you probably know about its capabilities already, so I shan't waste my time and yours going into the details. My A7 III, which used to be my main camera, has been downgraded to my B cam on video shoots, but it is still my main photography camera. That's pretty much it for camera bodies. Now, let's talk about the lenses. Everything that was in my bag in 2020 has essentially been replaced. The first lens which I'll talk about is my most used lens, and it is the Sigma 24-70 f2.8. I have recommended this in many of my other videos as the first lens you should buy or the only lens you will need if you can only pick one. It is versatile, affordable, and most importantly, produces great image quality. The only downside I can think of is its size and weight. This lens replaces the Tamron 28-75 lens that I used to own. That lens is actually pretty decent, but with only 28mm on the wide end, I honestly find myself wishing I had 24mm very frequently, and trust me, that 4mm makes a huge difference. That's what she said. This also means that the Sigma 28-70 is not an option for how I like to shoot. The wide-angle lens in my bag has also changed since then. I used to own both the Tamron 17-28 f2.8 and a 16-35 f4. Currently, my go-to wide-angle is the 20mm f1.8 prime. I like that it is pretty lightweight, has superb image quality, and the close focusing distance on that lens is pretty awesome. I've actually made a video on why I picked this prime lens over a zoom, which is a very rare thing for me, and you can check out the video here. I have since sold the Tamron lens but kept the 16-35 f4 because it's still a pretty awesome lens and I bring it out when I need its versatility. In fact, at times, I bring both lenses out, one to shoot a time lapse and while waiting, I could use the other to vlog. The third lens I have in my bag is a telephoto and it is the 100-400 Sigma DG-DN lens. This lens has replaced the 70-200 G Master and the 2x teleconverter that I used to carry around. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the 70-200 f2.8, but carrying that lens around for long periods of time definitely takes its toll on your body. I also find myself needing more reach quite frequently with that lens. The 2x teleconverter did provide it, but it was quite a hassle to keep removing and attaching it. I have a love-hate relationship with the Sigma 100-400, which you can learn more about it with my review on that lens. But for now, it stays in my camera bag till something better comes along. The last lens in my bag is my least used lens and it occasionally gets left behind, but when I do use it, it is brilliant. This lens is none other than the Sony 55mm f1.8 prime. I rarely use primes because I really dislike having to change lenses and I really enjoy versatility, but if I had to use a prime, it would be the Nifty 50. I've tried shooting with a 85mm prime before, but found it too tight for general purpose shooting. And on the other hand, the 35mm prime doesn't give you that nice compression that tighter focal lengths tend to give you. There is a reason why the 50mm prime has the name Nifty 50 and it's for that reason this lens is in my bag. That's pretty much all the lenses in my bag for an all-rounded coverage. My favourite thing about this kit is that the overall weight is relatively light for the focal range that I'm carrying, which is perfect for travel. Also, the combined price is relatively affordable. If anything unfortunate happens, it wouldn't hurt as much as having 2 to 3 G Master lenses in your bag. Moving on, we now look at the camera accessories I have in my bag. Let's first look at filters. In my filters of choice will be the Freewell Magnetic VND kit. The reason why I chose this as my primary filters is because of its versatility. Check out the review I did on it here. I still keep a few screw-on VND filters in my bag and use them on occasions where the camera is strapped to my body and likely to be knocked around because there is a risk of knocking the magnetic filters off. A few other camera accessories I keep in my bag include the small rig folding tool, a couple of lens cloths, a blower, a lens pen, Peak Design Capture Clip B3, and Peak Design camera strap. That's pretty much all the camera accessories I keep in my bag at all times. Moving on to audio, I use either the Rode Wireless Go 2 or the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, depending on the situation. I find that Rode microphones are the best value for money, which is why I will highly recommend them, especially if it's for content creation. The next few items don't live in my camera bag because they aren't required on every occasion, but they are my go-to choice when I do need them. First up, we have my drone. My drone of choice is a Mavic Pro 2. I must admit, the new Mavic Air 2S is a very compelling choice, and I too was almost seduced by the 4K 60p and lighter weight / smaller form factor of that drone. However, the Mavic Pro still has two things going for it: the side sensors and the adjustable aperture. The side sensors are not a necessity, but they are definitely nice to have and have saved me on a few occasions. What's really important to me is the ability to adjust the aperture. When your drone is up in the air, there are many situations that will require you to change your exposure. Yes, ND filters can help you do that, but are you going to recoil your drone each time just to change the filters? The ability to change your aperture to help you expose your image correctly is probably why the Mavic Pro 2 has the Pro term in its name. If not for this feature, I would definitely go for the Mavic Air 2S hands down. Also, regarding the smaller form factor, yes, although the Air 2S is a smaller and lighter drone, the controller that comes with it is bulkier and heavier, so there's that. The next item is not something I use often because I shoot outdoors a lot and usually in the daytime. However, when I travel, I will still bring along my Aputure AL-MW in case I'm shooting in low light conditions. This light is the best balance between size and output power, although it's a relatively old model by now. Last but not least, we will talk about tripods. My current go-to tripod is the Sirui W1204 and it has replaced my Manfrotto Be-Free Travel Tripod. Yes, this tripod is heavier, but it is so much more stable and reliable. You can even use a slider on this tripod without a problem. I did make a video on all the tripods that I own, and you can check it out to see which is best suited for you based on your needs. All the items mentioned earlier can fit into my bag, but now do you see why I need a 70 liters bag? This is more or less what I would carry for everyday use and what I would bring if I were to travel. Next up, let me briefly share about the other lenses I own and what I would pack for different situations. We've already covered situation number 1, which is my everyday carry for an all-rounded coverage. For situation number 2, it is my ultra lightweight kit. For this setup, I would bring only one camera body and two lenses, which would be the 20mm f1.8 and the 55mm f1.8. Despite being light, I still get superb image quality from these two lenses, which is what I love about it. If I need a larger variety of shots, in video mode, I can use Super 35 mode to get more focal length. I actually made a video about this, so do check it out. For the third situation, it is for a corporate shoot, and let me show you what I would bring. My lenses of choice would be the 16-35 f4, 24-70 f2.8, 90mm f2.8 macro, and the 70-200 f2.8. This kit should be more than enough to cover all your needs on a typical shoot. In fact, it is not just for corporate shoots. You can use it for weddings, events, products, and even documentaries. My last kit is for wildlife filming. For this, I packed the 200-600 and the 24-70 f2.8. I also bring along the 90mm macro if I don't mind the weight. So that's pretty much all the lenses I own and how I pack them according to my shooting scenario. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. That's it for today. It's a wrap!